All right, and we're back. This will be my 200th episode. I have a lot more than that to upload still. Previous how-tos that I made up for my switchback and for my street glide. But a lot of people ask me, what are your top modifications on each bike? So we'll start with my switchback, which I no longer own. Bought that brand new in 2011 and started harassing Memphis Shades from day one. Actually, before I even bought the bike, I was harassing them for hardware to put a bat wing on the switchback. So they wrote back to me a few times, and by April of 2012, they had some of the bracketry ready to go. Once they had that ready to go, they sent me a message telling me the part number to go order. And I ran over to my Harley dealership and they said, "Oh, nothing's available." I said, "No, look up this part number and order it. You'll get it." So I got one of the first, I think it was 50 sets that were put out. And Memphis Shades guaranteed me that I would get them so I could throw a bat wing on my switchback. And that was the top modification that I made to that motorcycle. I went with the bat wing, I went with the 9-inch spoiler, and the Hog Tunes MSA1 for sound, for music, and like with the GPS on the phone. And again, that was the top modification that I made to that motorcycle. And I got so many compliments on it. It was amazing. It looked like people thought originally that it was a street glide when they would see it. So that was the top modification. Second top modification that I put on that bike was the engine guard with a set of ultra lowers. In order to get the ultra lowers on it, I had to make some cuts. And if you go to the switchback forum that I created back then, you'll see a lot of the how-tos that I still have to upload to the YouTube channel yet. But it does show where I had to make the cuts to make the ultra lowers fit. So between the bat wing and the ultra lowers, and then the third modification that I made was, I would have to say, I put Street Glide low air shocks on it. And that gave me like the most comfortable ride you could ever get. So that would be the top three that I put on the switchback. One of the things I never did do was a electric cruise control that the members of my site had come up with. Those guys were like geniuses, and they worked up the electric cruise. And I actually, if you look in that box, well, them Harley parts up there. See what that says on that box? Switchback Dyna. It also fits a Softail. That is an electronic cruise control for a switchback. Now, I had been amassing parts because I've been thinking about buying another switchback, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm probably going to end up selling that electric cruise control, list that. I have a bunch of parts I have to get rid of. So, but I think I'm going to end up listing that and a bunch of the other switchback parts that I've amassed, just to get rid of them, to get rid of stuff, because I'm trying to buy a house now for my daughter and grandson. So if everything works out, I'll have a house for them, and I can sell stuff off just to put a little of my money back in the bank. So, all right, with that said, we'll move on to that Sportster that I had last year, 2 years ago, that I started doing all the work on, and, you know, did the first bunch of videos for my channel. And on the Sportster was a 2008 883 custom. So it was nice. It had the 4.5 gallon fuel tank. If you're going to buy a Sportster, buy a custom so you have the bigger tank, because I can tell you that peanut tank, if you get 80 miles to 90 mile range, it's a pain in the backside, because if you're riding with guys with touring or Softails, they don't want to have to stop every 100 miles to get gas. We'd like to do 150 to 200 miles before we have to stop. And with the custom tank, I was getting 200 miles out of a tank. So, you know, buy custom. That's all I can recommend. So with the Sportster, I would say the top modifications that I made to that while I had it was, again, I put touring air shocks on it, which gives a Sportster like a Cloud 9 ride. They're amazing. So if you have a Sportster, pick up a set of air shocks. Go look up my video for how to do the installation, how I did it. It was cheap. One of the best modifications you can get for a Sportster. So second best modification for the Sportster, I'm going to say was probably the late model air cleaner I put on, because personally I like a round air cleaner. I prefer it if I can get one that flows, and the later model 883 and 1200 air cleaner, that round air cleaner, bolts right on. It looks great. Can't beat it. So, and the third modification for that, I'm going to say, was the Memphis Shades windscreen, because it offered just enough. I used the El Paso. I think it was 17-inch, same as this right here. Okay, same shield. Have it up in the loft still. I never got rid of it. That's another one of those things I have to sell off. I have that, and I have clamps. I have a whole setup to put on a Sportster. So I would have to say that that was the third best. Moving on to the Sport Glide, which I still have, and probably going to keep this for a long time because I love this bike. Love the way it handles. The inverted forks give you a ride like you wouldn't believe in handling. I used to ride sport bikes back in the day. This thing handles amazing. It's amazing. I gotta say. So my top number one modification for this motorcycle, and if you have a Sport Glide, is floorboards. I'm telling you, you can't beat them. The Softail floorboards on this motorcycle, you got so many different foot positions. It's amazing. It just changes the whole bike up. And these are stock floorboard setup. Again, I have all the videos for how to do it. I bought the brackets off of eBay. They were cheap. The factory floorboards I picked up cheap again off of eBay, and I just had to buy some hardware to mount them to the brackets. Okay, there's a pin and a spring. I had to buy those. I got those from Ronnie's Fish. Amazing. Cannot beat the floorboards on this motorcycle. If you're going to do any kind of distance riding, swap out to the floorboards. You'll love them. Second best modification on a Sport Glide is going to be the Sundowner seat. I tried again, I think I did a video on it. I tried a Saddleman with the backrest, deep bucket. Most uncomfortable seat I think I ever owned in my life. I used it for a month and disposed of it quick. Pretty much got all my money back that I paid for it because I caught a great sale when I bought it. Again, it was junk. This thing, all day ride, all day. You cannot beat it. So, and I guess my third favorite modification on this again is windscreen, because the stock Sport Glide windscreens, which again is up in the loft, they're garbage. They block no wind. I don't understand why Harley went with that. And, you know, we try to ride all year round here. So as you can see, I have the hand guards in other videos where I painted them up, put them on. I have the fairing. And with Memphis Shades, what's really cool is once you get your clamps mounted, okay, you can go with a windshield, you can go with the small fairing, which is what I have for this, or you can go with the Batwing. They all fit, they're all spaced exactly the same, so you can swap out and go from look to look. So I've been thinking about buying the Memphis Shades Batwing for this and tossing it on, but I'm trying to think of what I want to do with the blinkers, because I don't want to relocate the signal lights down to I think it's the upper clamp where they bolt right here. I don't want to do that. I'm not interested. So I'm trying to think of a way I can integrate signal lights into the fairing and then make pop this lens off, pull it, and then put an extra lens with a hole in it, run wire through. So it's behind the fairing. That's what I'm thinking. And that way I can switch back and forth like I like to do to change the look of the bike. I can go from the mini fairing to the windshield to a bat wing, just swap it out depending on how I'm riding. So that's my three top modifications for that motorcycle. And then we'll move over to my Street Glide real quick. And best motorcycle I ever bought, ever owned in my life. I'm pretty sure I had a heart attack in November of 2016, but I never followed up with the doctor. And when I went and seen her, I guess 2 weeks later, I went and seen her, and she said, unfortunately, it's too late to do a blood test for these enzymes that are left over when you have a heart attack. But she said all the symptoms I described to her definitely sounded like I had a heart attack. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because this thing woke me up out of a sound sleep. The pain was unbearable. Sweats, pain down the left arm, tightness in the chest, you name it. So I woke up and I'm sitting waiting to drop dead, literally. And I'm sitting there and I got on Facebook, and I belong to a bunch of the Harley groups. And on Facebook was the meme. I'm sure a lot of you people seen it. It says, don't be the richest mother effer in the cemetery, buy the bike. Swear to God, popped up in my feed. And guess what? I started hunting for a Street Glide. I always wanted one, and I went and bought one. $21,627 cash. I paid for that thing. Biggest freaking check I ever had to write in my life, and I'm so happy I did. Rommel's Harley, I went down to Rommel's. They had the best deal. They threw in stuff. They delivered the bike to me from Smyrna, Delaware. Amazing to work with. Just phenomenal back then. So the best modifications that I did to this bike is going to be my J&R designed air ride. Top. No doubt about it. Because I'm sure you can see from my videos, I am short of stature. I am 5'5". Right now, I'm down to 160 whole pounds. So my little cracker butt would not compress the hand adjustable shocks. I sat on a bike and I had it on the lowest setting. It was the roughest ride I ever had in my life. So probably 2 months after buying this bike, I went ahead and ordered J&R designed air ride, threw it on. Absolute best decision I ever made. No two ways about it. So again, if you're short, lightweight, go with a J&R design. You don't have to spend a fortune on Legends or any of those others. The J&R, phenomenal air ride. Can't beat it. Second best modification is going to be the Ultra lowers. Again, I love lowers on a bike. I did the quick disconnect hardware. So that's quick disconnect, and behind there the clamps that bolt, they're quick disconnect. You can take them off with your hands. I can pop the lowers off. If I'm going to Florida to go to one of the rallies, I can pop those things off without a problem. Come right off, and then you have plenty of cool air. I've never felt the need to pull them off, so they haven't been off. I mean, I've been in 100-degree weather, and the bike doesn't get hot, doesn't overheat. You know, I went with the older model, so it has the bigger vents, where the Rushmore style 2014 and up, to whatever those fugly things are now on the new ones, I'll never tell you. They are the ugliest lowers I think I've ever seen. But these allow you, with the vents open, to get enough air to the engine. You never have a problem. So they're my second best. And for me, the third best is a toss-up. Okay. Taller windshield is a must. Okay. Long ride shield. 7-inch, if I remember correctly, because the 4-inch that they comes with the Street Glide is this, blocks absolutely no wind. And again, we ride all winter long, as you can see my tusk mitts. Keep my hands warm on a 28, 29, 30-degree morning, heading out for breakfast. So this windshield and heated grips, okay? I've had heated over grips before, heated gloves, heated grips. Absolutely, positively, if you ride in cold climates, get a set of heated grips, install them to your bike. You can't beat it. Your hands will be warm. I ride in thin O'Neill like spring summer gloves. That's what I ride in all year round. Because with these things and the heated grips, my hands are toasty warm. You cannot beat it. But other than that, I mean, I have custom dynamics lights. Everything on this bike is custom dynamics, top to bottom. I have those lights I have on my tour pack, quick detachable tour pack. It's hidden down underneath, but you can see that's a light right there. So I did a plug for it. It pop it on and off the bike. So it lights up the back of this motorcycle, let's say like Times Square. So many lights on the back. Cannot beat it. And again, the backrest. If you do any kind of distance riding, you want a backrest. Highway pegs, lean up against. This is a homemade bottle holder. Works perfect. Cost me $15. The seat, I heated myself. I have to upload that how-to yet. Cost me, I think it was $18 for the heating element. Okay. And then I bought, what the heck's the name of the connector to plug into the factory wire, the extension harness. And I wired that in so it's plug and play, come right off and on. The switch I have down under here, little rocker switch right there. Okay, on they call this the firewall on a Harley. So that's the rocker switch, up is high, low, down is high. Again, on those 25, 30 degree days, heated seat, can't beat it. It took me, I think, an hour, I want to say, to put the whole thing together. And one of the biggest the total was like $60, but one of the biggest expenses was I needed an air or electric stapler. So I ended up buying an air stapler to staple the cover back on to get it, because you only have to peel it back to here unless you're doing heat in the back. Very rarely do I have anybody on the back in the winter months. So heat in the rear is not needed. And again, my butt, the stock seat is the most comfortable seat for the way my butt is. 300 miles on that seat, no problem. I do have a Road King, I don't know, the one with the like little rivets all the way around it, black and silver. You see the end of it right there. That's it right there. So occasionally, if I'm going long distance, I'll throw that on too, because it's a little bit wider, but the backrest does work with it. Everything works out. So can't be beat. But with that said, again, those are the three top for all the bikes that I've had recently. Before the switchback, I had a 2009 Nightster, which again was a great bike. And again, the top mod for that was the air shocks, touring air shocks. You cannot beat them on a Sportster. Second top for that probably was going to be the seat. Can't remember what brand it was I put on, but the seat was super, super comfortable. And again, a Memphis Shades windscreen I threw on it for, because we like to ride distances. We get out and we go. So I would ride that Nightster till I needed gas. 100 miles, go do another 100 miles, go do another 100 miles. So again, there's different modifications you can do to make your ride comfortable. Don't listen to what people say, oh, you're a wimp, you're a wuss, blah, blah, blah. Listen, if I've been riding since 1980 on the street, yeah, I'm an old man, and I want to be freaking comfortable. On my sport bikes, I had an FJ 1200. I raised the handlebars up. I had the saddlebags with the trunk. You name it. I put radial tires on it. That thing handled like you wouldn't believe. I put 100,000 miles on that one. FJ 1100, I put 80-some thousand miles on that one. Again, be comfortable. If you're going to ride and you're not just bar hopping, set your bike up the way you want it. Nobody else is making your payments if you're making payments. Set it up the way you want it and ride it. Okay? Be comfortable. Be happy. All right, with that said, again, 200th episode. I can't believe how quick that went by. And please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Make a comment. And again, I'm trying to build this channel for my autistic son. So, hopefully one day I'll be able to monetize it and he'll have some money coming in from it. Because he doesn't make a lot of money. But that is what it is. That's a story for another day. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, I appreciate everybody that watches.